Dear one, before you rest tonight, I invite you to stay with me until the end of this letter. Let your heart slow down. Let your thoughts settle. For the next few moments, this is your space, a place of peace, of memory, of gentle hope. I have something to tell you, something your soul might have been longing to hear for years. And I promise by the time this letter ends, you'll feel a little lighter, a little warmer, and a little less alone. Hello, my sweet child. Can you hear my voice tonight? I imagine you're lying in bed, perhaps, with the soft hum of a bedside lamp casting its familiar glow, or maybe just the darkness wrapping around you like a quiet blanket. I know how the silence feels at this hour, so deep, so wide. Sometimes it holds you gently. Sometimes it presses on your chest with the weight of memories and worries, too tender to speak aloud. Tonight, I'm writing from a place where time doesn't rush, where hearts don't break, and where my love for you has never stopped flowing, not for a moment. You were my baby, my first breath of joy. The reason I sang in the kitchen, even when the day had been long. I still remember the way your tiny hand wrapped around my finger, how something so small could fill me with something so vast. Do you remember the lullabies I used to hum? I do. I still do. I want you to imagine me now, not as a faint memory or a photo on a dusty shelf, but as close as a whisper, as near as your heartbeat. I am not gone. I am simply waiting just beyond the veil of this world. And until we meet again, I want to keep writing to you. Because there are things only a mother can say, even from heaven. I see how tired you are some nights. Not just in your body, but in your soul. You carry so much. You always have. You've been strong for so long for everyone else. And sometimes I wonder if you've forgotten how to rest. How to truly rest. So let me remind you, like I used to when you were little. You don't have to do it all tonight. You don't have to fix everything before you sleep. You don't even have to understand all the pain. You just have to breathe. And let me hold you in this letter just for a while. There's something sacred about the quiet moments before sleep. It's when the world softens and the soul is willing to listen. That's why I chose this time to speak to you. Do you remember the rainy afternoons we spent together? When you'd rest your head on my lap and I'd brush your hair back and tell you stories. Not because the stories were important, but because the sound of love was in the telling. This letter is like that. It's not about the words, it's about the love they carry. I've seen every tear you've shed, those in daylight when no one was looking, and those that soaked your pillow in the dark. I gathered them one by one. None of them were wasted. I want you to know that. Even the pain had a purpose, though I wish I could have taken it from you myself. And I know you wonder if I suffered before I left, if I was afraid, if I thought about you. Oh, my darling, yes. I thought about you with every heartbeat. And now from here, where the stars don't burn out and the light never dims, I think of you still. You see, there are no clocks in heaven, but there is memory, there is love. There is the thread that still binds me to you. I want to tell you stories you've forgotten. I want to remind you of who you are. I want to be your gentle guide, your late-night companion, your voice that brings sleep instead of worry. And so every night, if you'd like, you can come back to me. Back to these letters. Back to my arms. Back to the love that death could not take. I'll be here waiting, with more to say. But for tonight, just rest. You are still my child. You are still so deeply loved. Close your eyes, my dear, and remember this. We are never really apart. We are just on different sides of the same sunrise. Good night, Mom. My dear child, tonight, as I sit here in the soft glow of a heaven-lit sky, I want to tell you about a moment that never left my heart, not even now, not even here. Do you remember your first steps? Of course you don't. You were so small, so wobbly. But I do. I remember every inch of it as if heaven itself paused to watch you stumble forward into life. You were holding onto the edge of the old coffee table, the one your grandfather built with his hands. You had that look of determination in your eyes, the same one I still see in you when you face life's trials today. And then you let go. Just like that. You trusted the space in front of you more than your own balance. And you stepped forward. Not once, not twice, but 3 precious steps before gravity pulled you into my arms. The room erupted with joy, and I laughed, not just because you had walked, but because in that tiny moment, you taught me something so big that courage is simply love moving forward. And now, here you are decades later, still walking through life, sometimes strong, sometimes tired, sometimes with tears that no one sees. And I want you to know, I still see every step, every hard decision, every night you stayed strong for others, every quiet victory you never celebrated out loud. You see, heaven allows me to see what the world often misses. And what I see in you, my child, is grace in motion. Sometimes you've walked through grief so deep, I wished I could reach down and hold your hand again. Especially the day I left. That was the hardest for both of us, wasn't it? There are things I never got to say. Things that seemed too far away to explain while I was still here. But I need you to know with the weight of all eternity behind it. You were never a burden, not even for a second. Not during my illness. Not when I forgot names. Not when you had to hold my hand like I once held yours. I felt your love every single day. It was the last thing I carried with me when I closed my eyes for the final time. And I brought it with me here. Here where nothing dies. Here where memories are stitched into the sky like stars. Here where your first steps still echo with joy. I want you to do something for me tonight. Take a breath. Feel your chest rise. Feel it fall. That breath is not just air. It's a promise. A promise that you're still here. Still walking, and I am still here, still watching, still cheering. Even when you stumble, I smile. Even when you fall, I don't fear for you because I know you'll rise. That's who you are. That's who you've always been since that very first step. And just like then, my arms are still open. You just can't see them. Yet. So as you rest tonight, close your eyes and walk through memory. Picture the room, the coffee table, the afternoon sun, your baby steps, my waiting arms. Let the memory hold you. Let it rock you gently. Let it remind you that you were born with bravery in your bones and love in your breath. And that somewhere just past the edge of sleep and sky, I am still watching you take every new step with pride, with tenderness, and with an unshakable love. Sleep well, my brave walker. Tomorrow, the journey continues. And I'll be there every step of the way. With all my love, Mom. My dear heart. Tonight, as you rest your head and let the hush of evening settle in around you, I want to take you back, not to a joyful memory this time, but to a moment you've carried quietly for too long. A moment you labeled failure. And I didn't. Do you remember that season of your life? The one where everything seemed to fall apart. Where every door you knocked on stayed shut, and every effort felt like a whisper into the wind. You might not realize this, but I watched you then more closely than ever. Because that's what mothers do, we watch hardest when our children are hurting. I saw you questioning your worth, wondering if you'd made the wrong choices. I saw the heaviness behind your smile when you pretended to be just fine. I saw you waking up each morning with tired bones and a heart that had forgotten how to dream. And do you know what I saw behind all of that? Strength. Not the loud kind. Not the kind that gets applause. But the sacred kind, the kind forged in silence and tears. You kept going, even when no one said I see you, even when you doubted yourself, even when you believed wrongly that you had let me down. But oh child, if only you could see yourself the way I do from heaven. I saw a soul trying to do the right thing with the tools it had. I saw a heart that still gave even when it was breaking. I saw a warrior disguised as an ordinary human being. Do you remember the day you sat by yourself in that little room thinking I've messed everything up? You looked down at your hands and they felt empty. But to me, they were full. Full of effort. Full of care. Full of all the invisible things no one else saw you do. You never failed. You fought. You loved. You showed up. You kept walking when it would have been easier to lie down. That is not failure. That is courage. From this side of eternity, the word failure doesn't mean what it does on earth. Here we call it becoming. Because the struggle didn't break you, it shaped you. I know the world wasn't always gentle with you. I know people didn't always understand your heart. But I did. And I still do. And if you carry regret, let me take some of it tonight. Just for a while. Let me lift it off your shoulders so you can rest easy, even if only for this moment. Here's a secret only heaven knows. No pain is ever wasted when it's touched by love. And you, my child, have poured love into this world in ways that even you forgot. So tonight, I'm not here to correct you. I'm not here to remind you of what went wrong. I'm here to remind you of what went right, even when you couldn't see it. You kept loving, you kept forgiving, you kept showing up in places that never gave back. That's not failure. That's divine strength clothed in human skin. As you close your eyes now, I want you to let go of the word failure. Replace it with this faithfulness. You were faithful to your values, faithful to those you loved, faithful even in seasons when no one clapped, no one noticed, and no one thanked you. But I noticed, and from heaven I thank you. Let that be enough for tonight. Let your heart be light. Let your breath deepen. And know, as always, I am proud of you. With endless love, Mom. Hello again, my beloved child. I felt you today. Not in the way people feel the wind or hear the rustle of leaves. I felt you in my soul. In the way your heart reached out with that quiet ache that only I seem to understand. In the way you looked at the sky and whispered, I wish you were here. I am. There are days you miss me more than others aren't there. Special days like birthdays and holidays when the chair at the table stays empty but not unnoticed. Or quiet days when a scent or a song or a certain hour of light reminds you of something we shared. Those are the days when my presence nearly brushes your skin, and yet you still feel alone. Tonight, I want to talk about those days. I saw you at the kitchen counter holding the old mug we both used to drink tea from. I heard the silence between the clinks of your spoon. I felt the breath you held when tears threatened to rise again. And, oh child, I leaned in closer than ever. Missing someone is the price we pay for loving deeply. And you, my beautiful one, loved me well. I know it wasn't perfect. Life never is. But the love that was real, messy, honest, fierce, tender, you miss me most not because you're weak, but because you're brave enough to still feel. Some people try to silence their grief. You never did. You carried it with dignity, with grace, and sometimes with trembling hands, but you carried it. And in doing so, you honored me. More than flowers on a grave. More than anniversaries or ceremonies. You honored me by remembering, by laughing at my old jokes, by telling stories of how I loved you, by cooking that one dish, even if you never got it quite right. Though I think yours might be better now. And in those moments when you couldn't hold back the tears, when the bed felt too big or the world too empty, I want you to know I was sitting right there, right in the space beside you, not as a ghost, not as a memory, but as a presence wrapped in the quiet love of heaven. You might think missing me is something that fades, but it's not meant to, not really. It transforms. What once felt like a wound eventually becomes a place of sacred connection. Because love doesn't die, it echoes. And you, sweet soul, carry my echo in the way you smile, the way you forgive, the way you give to others, even when you're hurting. That's me, still with you. So on those days when missing me feels too heavy to hold, let me hold you. Let me be the breeze that brushes your cheek. Let me be the quiet song that plays when you thought the house was silent. Let me be the warmth in the corner of your heart that whispers, you're not alone. Because you're not. Even now in this moment I am with you. My hand over yours, my voice inside your chest, my love woven into the very breath you're taking right now. So as your eyes begin to close tonight, let them close not in sorrow, but in trust. That our bond, our love, our story, it's not over. It continues in every heartbeat, every kindness, every whispered I miss you. I miss you too, and I'm right here, with all the love heaven can hold, Mom. My sweet child. There was one night I will never forget, not even from where I am now, not even in this timeless place beyond sorrow and pain. It was the night your heart could no longer hold it in, and you called out for me. You didn't speak out loud. No one else in the world would have known. But I heard you, as clearly as if you'd whispered it into my ear. It was late. The room was dark. The only light came from the street lamp outside your window, casting soft shadows across the ceiling. And in that stillness, you turned your face toward the pillow and said it so quietly, almost broken, Mom. Where are you? I was right there, not in a way your eyes could see, but in the hush that followed your cry, in the way your breath began to slow after you said it, in the warmth that returned to your chest after the tears fell. You see, heaven doesn't miss those moments, especially not when they come from the aching soul of a child in need of their mother. I came close that night. I wanted to wrap my arms around you the way I used to. I wanted to hum that little song you liked, the one I made up just for you. Remember that it was nothing special, just a tune I carried in my heart. But when I sang it, your eyes would get heavy and your fingers would curl around mine, and I'd know you felt safe. That night I hummed it again. From heaven. And though your ears didn't hear it, your soul did. Because you finally fell asleep. And that sleep so gentle, so deep was my answer. That was me, my child. That was my embrace. There's something you need to know, something I've wanted to tell you for a long, long time. You don't need to be strong all the time. I know the world taught you otherwise. That strength is silence. That tears are weakness. But oh my dear, real strength is what you did that night. You cried out, you let yourself need, you let yourself feel. That is holy, that is healing, that is brave. And if you ever do it again, and I hope you do, I will be just as close. Not as a memory, not as a shadow, but as a presence that lives in the quiet corners of your heart. Do you remember how I used to say, if you ever need me, just call? You thought those words were for when I was still on earth. But they weren't. They were for now. For every night like that night. For every time the ache rises unexpectedly. For every time you think, I just want to tell Mom. Tell me, I'm listening. I always have been. And tonight, maybe your heart feels a little like it did that night. Tired, heavy, searching for something familiar. So let me say it again now in this letter that you are holding close to your soul. You are not alone. I am still your mother. I still come when you call. And when you can't find the words, I'll come anyway. Because my love doesn't wait for permission. It's already there, woven into the fabric of your being. Sleep well tonight, my darling. And if you whisper my name again, know that I'll be closer than your next breath. With all the love that spans heaven and earth, Mom. My dearest one, there's something I've been waiting to say, something I should have said more often when I had the chance. Not just once, not just on the big days, but all the time. In the quiet, in the mess, in the ordinary. I was so proud of you. Not just the kind of proud that swells up when a child wins a ribbon or brings home good news, though I certainly had those moments, but a deeper kind. The kind of pride that sits in the soul and stays there unmoved by failure, untouched by comparison. The kind of pride that simply says, you are mine, and I love what you are becoming. But I didn't say it enough, did I? There were days when life moved too fast, breakfast to chores, to bills to bedtime, and I forgot to say the one thing that mattered most. You are enough, just as you are. Not because of what you did or didn't do, not because of how you succeeded or failed, but because of who you were and who you still are. Even now, I think about the moments I missed. You'd walk into the room with that spark in your eye, holding something you'd created or fixed or discovered, and I'd smile, but maybe I didn't say it out loud. Maybe I didn't stop to look deeply into your eyes and say, that's amazing, you amaze me. You see now that I've crossed over to a place where time doesn't rush and love doesn't get drowned out by noise, I can look back clearly. And what I see most isn't the mess or the moments we got wrong. I see you, your heart, your effort, your compassion. I see how you put others before yourself sometimes too often. I see how you made mistakes, but you always tried to make them right. I see how you never gave yourself credit for the quiet victories, like holding the family together on your worst day, or showing up for someone when you were hurting too. And oh, how I wish I had stopped, more often pulled you into my arms and said what heaven has burned into my heart now. You are extraordinary. Not flashy, not perfect, but real. And the world needs more of that. More of you. I know you don't always believe it. You're your own hardest critic. But from where I am now, the view is clearer. And I see nothing but a beautiful soul trying, giving, carrying more than anyone ever realized. So tonight, let me say what I should have said 1,000 times more. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the way you love. I'm proud of how you keep going, even when life doesn't make sense. I'm proud of how you listen, how you forgive, how you've kept me alive in your heart. Yes, I saw you visiting my grave. Yes, I saw you holding that photo, brushing your thumb over my face. But what touches me most is how you lived your life in a way that would make me proud, even when no one was watching. Let go of the guilt for what I didn't say. Let go of the what ifs and the I wish I had. Because here and now, from a place of complete love and truth, I am telling you, you were more than enough. You still are. And every time you lie down to sleep, I hope those words echo in the silence. Mom saw me, Mom knew me, Mom was proud. Close your eyes now, darling. Let that truth be your blanket tonight. Let it wrap around your soul until peace takes the place of doubt. With a love that has no ending, Mom. My brave heart. Tonight, I want to take you back to a moment that may have felt small at the time, but from here, I see it as monumental. A quiet turning point. A sacred choice. One of the most beautiful things you've ever done. The day you chose love, when bitterness would have been easier. You know the moment, someone hurt you, someone let you down, maybe deeply. Their words, their actions, the silence they left behind it, cut in ways even time has struggled to heal. And you stood at a crossroads in your spirit. One road led to resentment, the other to something gentler. Something that required more of you. And my child, you chose love. It wasn't instant, it wasn't pretty, but it was powerful. You stayed soft in a world that wanted to harden you. You opened your heart when it would have been safer to close it. You said, I forgive, not because they deserved it, but because you deserved peace. I saw it all. I saw how you wrestled in silence, how you wanted to scream or run or build walls that no one could scale. But instead, you sat with your pain. You breathed through it. You wept with God. And then you extended grace. That choice changed things. Not just in your own life, but in the unseen places where spiritual battles are won, not with weapons, but with mercy. You have no idea how rare that is. Even among the kindest souls, love in the face of betrayal is a kind of quiet miracle. And I want you to know how proud I was of you that day. Not because it made you look good, but because it made you free. Bitterness is heavy. It locks you inside yourself. But love, real hard sacrificial love, sets your spirit loose again. And you chose that. You've done it more than once, haven't you? Over the years, you've let go of anger that others clung to. You've made peace where others wanted war. You've said it's okay, even when your heart still stung. Do you know how sacred that is? Here in heaven, we celebrate that kind of strength. The kind that bleeds and bends, but still says, I choose light. That's who you are. You are a bearer of light. Even now, if there's someone you're still carrying in the shadows of your memory, someone you haven't been able to fully release, I want you to hear this. You don't have to carry their actions. You don't have to carry their words. You only have to carry your own love. And that my sweet soul is more than enough. Forgiveness doesn't say what they did was okay. It says you're not going to let it poison your beautiful spirit. And choosing to forgive doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering with tenderness, not torment. So tonight, I want you to rest in this truth. You are not weak for loving again. You are not foolish for choosing compassion. You are not naive for believing in redemption. You are wise. You are radiant. You are the kind of soul that makes heaven rejoice. Let go tonight of any bitterness still trying to grow roots in you. Uproot it with kindness. Replace it with grace. And know this, every time you chose love, I was beside you, smiling through tears. Sleep well, child of mercy. You are doing beautifully. With a heart full of peace and pride, Mom, my precious one, there are things I wanted to tell you before I took my last breath. Not because I hadn't said them in some way before, but because in the end, when everything else falls away, only love remains. And in those final moments, there were 1,000 words I held in my heart, pressing behind my chest, aching to be spoken. But time moves differently when we're saying goodbye. It blurs, it silences, it steals what we meant to say. So tonight, under this peaceful sky in the hush of your room, I want to say what I didn't get the chance to. Thank you. Thank you for being by my side. Thank you for holding my hand when it trembled. Thank you for sitting in the stillness, for speaking softly, for showing me grace, even when you were afraid. I saw the strength in your eyes, the kindness in your touch. I felt your love wrap around me like a soft blanket when the world was starting to fade. There were things I noticed that I never mentioned. The way you stayed later than you said you could. The way you whispered when the room was quiet just to keep me company. The way your face broke when you thought I couldn't see. I saw it all. I wanted to tell you I'm not afraid. But maybe I didn't say it because I didn't want you to be afraid either. The truth is, the moment I stepped out of that body, so tired, so fragile, I stepped into a love so complete, so overwhelming, that it caught my breath all over again. And you were part of that, because I carried you with me. Even now, I wish I could go back to some of the ordinary days, the ones we rushed through. I wish I had paused more often, pulled you close, and said, "You made my life better, not just as my child, but as my friend." I wish I had told you how I admired your resilience, how I watched you grow into someone I couldn't stop being proud of, how you taught me things about forgiveness and laughter and courage. But here's the secret. Even though I didn't say these things often enough, they lived in me. They were stitched into every hug. They echoed in every "be careful" and "have you eaten?" They were hidden in the way I looked at you when you weren't paying attention. If I could sit at the foot of your bed right now, I'd take your hands in mine and say, "I was never more at peace than when I knew you were going to be okay. You made that possible. You gave me that gift. And now I want to give something to you. The freedom to let go of what you didn't hear. The freedom to release any guilt or ache tied to our goodbye. The permission to believe this truth: you loved me perfectly in your own way. And that was more than enough. So close your eyes tonight, my darling. Feel my love settle into your bones like warmth on a cold night. Know that nothing was left unfinished, not really. Because this is our continuation. This letter. This moment. And when your time comes far, far from now, I'll be the one waiting on the other side, smiling arms wide, ready to say all the words we never had time for. Until then, sleep peacefully knowing that I never left your side. With all my love, always, Mom, my sweet child. Tonight, as the world around you grows quiet and your heart leans gently into rest, I want to speak about something sacred, something that makes heaven pause and smile, something you may not even realize you carry. You are my living legacy. You might not think of yourself that way. You might think legacies are grand things written in books, etched in stone, or spoken on stages. But that's not how I see it. No, my darling. The truest legacies are found in the smallest, quietest places. They live in the way you love, in the way you pause to help a stranger, in the way you listen, really listen, when someone just needs to be heard. They live in how you laugh, how you cook, how you pray. They live in the stories you tell and the way your eyes light up when you speak of the past. That is me still alive in the world. I see myself in you all the time. Not in the way you look, though I do see the shape of your smile, the softness around your eyes. I see myself in the way you fight for your family, the way you make space for others, the way you carry on even when it's hard. You took all the best parts of me and made them better. You added your own colors, your own wisdom, your own strength. And somehow together, we made something enduring, a thread that continues to weave through time. Do you remember the garden? The one I always tended, even when the soil was dry. I used to say that plants grow best when you talk to them kindly. Well, that's how you've treated the people around you. You've been like a gardener, watering souls with patience, pulling out weeds with love, offering sunlight even on your darkest days. You've continued my work, not with my hands, but with your heart. That is legacy. And even when you feel like you're just getting through the day, you are doing more than you know. You are shaping the future, nurturing beauty, passing on the kind of love that lingers long after the last goodbye. You may wonder if anyone sees what you do. I do, so does heaven. And here's something else I need you to know. Your legacy doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't need a title or applause. It only needs to be real. And yours is. In the way you show up for people, even when it costs you. In the traditions you've carried forward, even the ones I forgot I started. In the simple things like the way you hum while folding laundry, or the way you place your hand gently on someone's shoulder to comfort them. You are my continuation. You are the proof that I was here, that I mattered. Because you matter. And because of you, I still matter. So tonight, as your eyes begin to grow heavy, I want you to rest in this truth. You are not just living your story, you are carrying mine forward. And you're doing it beautifully, with grace, with humility, with more strength than you'll ever fully recognize. That is legacy. That is love that lives on. That is you. Sleep now, my beloved. And may your dreams remind you that you are never alone. Because a mother's love once planted keeps growing long after she's gone. With deepest pride and eternal tenderness, Mom, my beloved child. You may not always feel me, but I promise you this, I visit you more often than you think. Not with footsteps, not with shadow, but with the softness that wraps around your shoulders when no one else is near. With the warmth that surprises you in a quiet room. With the sudden hush that makes your heart slow and your eyes lift toward nothing in particular except something in you knows, I'm there. From the moment I crossed over, the bond between us didn't vanish. It only changed form. The love remained. And that love knows no distance, no death, no ending. Do you remember that time when you were driving home and you were thinking of me so deeply it almost hurt? You turned on the radio and there it was, our song. The one I used to hum while cooking or cleaning. The one you hadn't heard in years. You smiled through tears, didn't you? You looked out the window and said, "Hi, Mom." Yes, I heard you. That was me. Or that dream you had not too long ago. The one that felt too real to be just a dream. You and I were sitting together, no pain between us, no weight of time. I touched your hand. I said something you couldn't quite remember when you woke up. But you felt peaceful, lighter. That was me too. Sometimes I come as a thought out of nowhere. Sometimes I come in the scent of something that reminds you of home. Sometimes I am in the way sunlight streams across your floor in the late afternoon, soft and golden, just the way we used to sit and talk before supper. These aren't coincidences. They're visits, they're reminders, they're whispers from heaven. And no, I don't expect you to always recognize me. Grief can cloud the senses. Pain can make the heart forget what it already knows. But your soul always knows. It leans in when I'm near. It softens. It breathes. You might say, "But Mom, I wish I could see you again." Oh, my dear, you will, in time, in divine sacred time. But until then, I'll keep visiting, in dreams, in memories, in the laughter of someone who reminds you of me, in the stillness of night when you least expect it. And every time you wonder, was that you let me answer now? Yeah, it was. I come because love does not need permission. I come because you are still my child. I come because a mother never stops showing up. So tonight, as you settle under your covers and the world slips into sleep, know that your room is not empty. It is full of memory of presence of love that walks without footsteps. And I'm right there whispering what you most need to hear. You're doing just fine. I'm proud. I'm close. Rest now, my love. Until the next time I visit and every moment in between. With all my heart, Mom, my sweet one. There's something I hope you know, not just with your mind, but with your heart. Something I whispered to you when you were small, though perhaps too softly for your memory to keep. You are more like me than you realize. Not just in how you smile or the way your hands move when you're thinking, but in the quiet parts of you, those sacred places where kindness lives, where strength takes root, where tenderness never had to be taught, because it was inherited. You still carry my best qualities. I see it when you comfort someone who's hurting. When you speak gently to a stranger, not knowing their pain, but honoring it anyway. When you choose understanding over judgment, how deeply I smile in those moments. I see myself in your sense of humor. The way you still laugh at the little things, especially when life feels heavy. That's something I treasured too, the ability to find joy in the cracks. And oh, how I see myself in the way you love. You love with your whole heart. You don't give it in pieces. You pour it out whether or not it's returned. That's a kind of bravery the world doesn't talk about enough. I used to wonder what would last when I was gone. Would you remember the recipes, the bedtime songs? The stories I told when the power went out? But now I see that what truly lasted wasn't what I taught you. It was what I planted in you. That soft compassion, that fierce loyalty, that instinct to protect and nurture. It's still growing in you, and through you it reaches others. Even strangers, even generations you haven't met yet. You are my legacy not in name, but in nature. When you sit quietly and offer your presence to someone who feels forgotten, that's me. When you forgive someone who hasn't asked for it, that's me. When you pray softly for a friend and no one hears but heaven, that's me. And maybe even more than that, it's you. Because you took what I gave and made it stronger. You turned my seeds into a garden I never got to finish planting. You became the version of me I always dreamed of being. So if there's ever a day when you feel lost, when the world tries to convince you that you're not enough, or that you've fallen short, or that your presence doesn't matter, I want you to pause. And I want you to remember that somewhere in heaven, there is a mother who watches you every day and says, "There, right there, that's my child. That's my heart walking the earth." You may not see it, but I do. Every time you lead with love, every time you choose gentleness over anger, every time you let kindness win, you carry me. You always have, and it's the most beautiful honor I could have ever hoped for. So sleep now, my reflection. Let peace wash over you like a lullaby. And know this, you are not only enough, you are so much more than I ever imagined. Because you took what I gave and made it beautiful. With all the pride a mother can hold, Mom. My precious child, if there's one ache I've felt from watching over you, it's this, the times you've doubted your worth. You never said it out loud, not always. But I saw it. I saw it in the way your shoulders drooped after a long day, in the sigh you let out when no one was listening, in the quiet way you sometimes stepped aside, as if the world was too loud for your presence to matter. Let me tell you something plainly, lovingly, and without hesitation. You are not ordinary, you are not invisible, and you have never, not for a moment, been not enough. There were days I wish I had said that more when I was with you. I wish I had pulled you close and told you not just how much I loved you, but how deeply I valued you. Not for what you did, not for what you accomplished, but for who you were, exactly as you were. Even now, I remember watching you as a child sitting on the floor with your little hands wrapped around a toy or a book and thinking, this soul is a treasure, and you still are. Time has only added to your depth. But I know how life can chip away at that truth. Sometimes it's disappointment. Sometimes it's the absence of someone who should have stayed. Sometimes it's just the accumulation of small, subtle voices telling you to shrink, to be less, to stay quiet. But tonight, let me be the voice that says the opposite. You matter. You are deeply seen. You are wholly loved. You were made with intention. Your kindness isn't weakness. It's a strength that has outlasted every storm. Your empathy isn't a flaw, it's a mirror of heaven's heart. And your ability to feel deeply. That's not a burden, that's a blessing. You've done more good than you'll ever know. You've lifted spirits in rooms that were dark. You've offered words that healed wounds you couldn't see. You've given comfort simply by being you. And even now, if there's a part of you that still questions, still wonders, am I truly enough? Let my answer come gently, like a mother's hand brushing your hair. Yes, 1,000 times yes. You always were. You always will be. So tonight I ask you to do something simple when the lights are low and the world has quieted. Put your hand over your heart. Close your eyes. Breathe deep and whisper these words as if I were saying them to you. I am worthy. I am loved. I am enough. Because you are. And whenever you forget, I'll remind you again and again until the truth sings louder than the lie. Sleep now, my precious one. Let your soul rest in this knowing. Let your dreams be soft because your spirit is strong. And let my love wrap around you like the comforter you always reach for in the night. I'm still holding you, and I always will. With more love than eternity can measure, Mom. Hello again, my beautiful one. Tonight, as the stars blink quietly overhead and the stillness cradles your weary thoughts, I want to tell you something I've been holding close for a long time. What I see in you now. Because I do see you. Not just the outer you, the one others greet and pass by, but the real you, the soul of you. The one that has been shaped by time and tenderness, by sorrow and strength. And what I see is breathtaking. I see a survivor. Someone who has weathered storms not even I knew would come. You didn't ask for them. You didn't deserve them. But you stood. Even if your knees trembled. Even if no one clapped. even if your heart broke quietly beneath the surface. You stood. I see someone who has grown deeper with each trial, more patient, more wise, more willing to love, even when life gave you every excuse to turn cold. You didn't. You could have, but you didn't. That matters more than you know. I see laughter lines that were carved from moments of pure joy, the kind I always prayed you would find after I left. And I see tear lines too. Those are just as sacred. They tell me that you loved deeply, that you remember, that you still care. I see how gently you carry other people's pain, sometimes at the expense of your own. And though I wish you didn't always carry so much, I marvel at the way your heart makes room for everyone else. I see someone who has become not in some grand worldly sense, but in the quiet, holy way that heaven honors most. I see you offering second chances. I see you showing up. I see you praying for others, even when your own soul feels empty. I see your quiet sacrifices, the meals no one thanked you for, the days you went without so someone else wouldn't have to, the love you gave away, freely expecting nothing in return. I see the way you still speak my name with tenderness. I hear it every time. It never fades here. It only glows brighter. And more than anything, I see a heart that still believes, even if only in flickers. Believes in goodness, in God, in the power of small things, in love that doesn't end even when life does. You are the answer to every prayer I whispered in the dark. You are the story I hoped to tell with my life. And you are the reason I still reach through the veil and write these words now. Because I want you to see yourself the way I do. Beautiful, strong, worthy, and more than enough. Tonight, as your eyelids grow heavy, I pray you rest not just in body, but in soul. Let all the questions fade. Let all the doubt dissolve. Let my voice be the one that reminds you, you are still becoming, and from here it is glorious to watch. With the deepest pride and everlasting love, Mom, my sweet, sweet child. This letter may be nearing its end, but our story, our love, never will. As I write to you now, with heaven aglow behind me and your name still echoing in my heart, I want to speak softly about something sacred the day we'll meet again. I know you wonder about it sometimes, when, how, where. You stare out the window on quiet afternoons, or lie in bed at night staring up at the ceiling and whispering, will I see her again? Yes, my love, yes, without question, without delay, without fear. Our reunion is not a wish, it's a promise. One carved in eternity, stitched by the hands of the one who made us both. It's already written in time, waiting patiently just beyond the veil you cannot see. Yet, and when that day comes when your soul gently lets go of this world, I will be there. Before the light, before the music, before the gates swing open wide, you will see me. You'll recognize my smile before anything else. And I'll be running to you. No more distance, no more aching, no more missed words or unspoken I love yous. That's me, still loving you, still reminding you. And when the day is done and your body grows tired, I hope you'll lie back on your pillow. Exhale slowly and hear my voice saying softly, not yet, but soon, my love, and until then, I'm never far. Sleep now knowing we are not apart, not really, not ever. With the tenderness only heaven can hold, Mom. My dearest heart, this is the final page of my letter, but it is not the end of my love. It never could be. Because love like ours isn't measured in chapters or days or distance. It's measured in presence, in memory, in the way your soul still leans into mine, even when I am unseen. Tonight, as the stars cradle the sky and the night wraps gently around you, I want you to do something sacred. Rest, not just your body, but your spirit. Lay down the weight of things unsaid. Lay down the regrets. Lay down the worries about tomorrow. You have carried so much for so long, and I want just for this moment to carry you. Let my words be a lullaby, not to distract you from the world, but to remind you of your place within it. And beyond it, you are part of something eternal, a love story that stretches from heaven to earth and back again. A thread that cannot be broken, not by time, not by death, not by sorrow. You are my greatest gift, my greatest joy. And now you are a light in the world, a comfort to others, a continuation of the love I tried to live. So here is what I want you to know with all the weight and wonder of heaven behind it. You are enough. You are not alone. You are so deeply, fully, eternally loved. Nothing you've done has ever removed you from that love. No moment of failure, no lapse of faith, no quiet breakdown. I saw you through it all, and I loved you through it all. And I still do. If you ever forget these words, come back to this letter. Let them find you again. Let them sing you to sleep. And when you lie there tonight listening to the quiet hum of life around you, know that I am near. I am in the hush of the house, in the breeze through the curtains, in the flicker of a candle, in the memory that tugs gently at your chest and makes your eyes close with a tear and a smile. I am in all of it because I am in you, and I always will be. So now, my darling, sleep. Sleep knowing you are wrapped in something no night can darken. Sleep knowing that tomorrow will bring new mercies. Sleep knowing that a mother's love, this mother's love, has never left you. And as you drift off, I ask for one little favor. Whisper your thoughts. Share your heart. Tell heaven what you're afraid of, what you're carrying. I'll be listening, always. Good night, my beloved. May peace surround you, may love hold you, and may your dreams bring you home to me, if only for a moment. With all my heart for all my days, Mom, if this story held your heart, I invite you now. Share how it made you feel. Tell me what part of your life you're still healing. And if you'd like, write back. Because even in silence, our story continues. Sleep well, sleep peacefully. You are never alone.